You're watching NewsX. I'm Gauri Trivedi. The government is doing all it can to bring normalcy in the valley. Today, in fact, Home Minister, Minister of State for Home Affairs, G. Kishan Reddy said that the government is pushing towards opening up of 50,000 temples and educational institutions that were shut down or were desecrated or vandalized by terrorists during the first wave of terrorism that struck Kashmir Valley towards the end of 80s, and since then, of course, terror has continued to stay. Plans to survey these structures and then go about reopening them after restoring them is the big push that the centre will focus on. In fact, cinema halls, their restoration, resumption of services is also something that's on the cards. First casualty, remember, of the terror activities in the valley was, in fact, the entertainment industry, the entertainment services. Army Chief Bipin Rawat also said that there has been no clampdown as far as Kashmir is concerned, but what will be the larger impact of opening up of some of these institutions, whether it is the first step towards ensuring the rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits is the big story that we are discussing this Monday evening. Before we go any further, let's listen into some relevant sound bites.
हमने एक कमेटी कॉन्स्टिट्यूट किया है, गवर्नर को आदेश दिया है, कितने स्कूल्स क्लोज है, सभी स्कूल्स आने वाले दिन में रीओपन करने वाले हैं, आने वाले दिन में रीओपन करेंगे। लगभग 50,000 टेम्पल्स क्लोज हुआ है, कुछ डिस्ट्रॉय हुआ है 90%, कुछ मूर्तियां डिस्ट्रॉय हो गए। उस टेम्पल्स का भी हम सर्वे करने के लिए आदेश दिया है।
The killings are down, the violence is down, the terrorists have been kept at bay. So we will gradually start releasing, and easing the pressures on the people. But let me tell you one thing, to say that there's a clampdown, I don't agree with this.
Yes, the government that is sensitive to all the issues, and that shows our commitment to Kashmir and the people over there. Nobody should have a problem with that.
All right, with me here in the studio is Commodore Sodhi, who's, besides being a defense expert, also comes from the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Sumit Peer, also Kashmir issue expert with us on the broadcast. R.P. Singh, representing the BJP, Chetan Singh, a political analyst on the broadcast. In fact, Commodore Sodhi, let me begin with you. That, ever since the announcement that came of the MOS home, which we played out, it almost now looks like that the government has finally charted out a roadmap for rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits. Gauri, and places of worship are, of course, the first set to begin with.
Gauri, there are Durasthai, actually, what has been said by the Minister of State today, in fact, this was to be done, this should have been done long back. Jammu and Kashmir, or I can say Kashmir, if you go back to the history of Kashmir, it was in the 1st century that you had Hinduism in Kashmir, then after that in the 3rd century you had Buddhism, then you had Kashmir Shivaism, then in the 13th to 15th century you had Islam. If you look at the temples which were built in Kashmir, some of the grandest temples which existed in India, they were built in Kashmir, right? We all know what all has happened in Kashmir, but the fact is that when I look at that, I get surprised that whose responsibility was it to see to it these monuments or these temples should have been protected. I mean, something drastically wrong had happened because both the government in the state as well as the government in the center, they never bothered to, actually stop as to what was happening in the temples. But okay, let us see that even if today, now a statement has been made that yes, they are going to see to it the temples where they are supposed to be rebuilt, they will be rebuilt, or wherever any sort of, repairs are to be done, it will be done. So I think it's very, very important that all these, there is a need that this work should be done on priority. Second thing, Gauri, which I also want to tell you is that you see, sometimes people used to say with the exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits, which happened in the 90s, 1990, they generally said that there was nobody to look after the temples, there were no Kashmiri Pandits or no Pujari was there. But, you also had some of the reports where even some of the Muslims, they also looked after the temples. That also we have to keep in mind. Of late, there was another news which came from one of the villages that, you know, both the Hindus, Kashmiri Pandits who are there as well as the Muslims, they want to rebuild a temple which was in that area. But what I want to propose or suggest is, you know, in the defense forces, rather in the army, you have a cadre where you call them as the religious teachers. You induct the people who actually do the duties of the religious teachers.
Okay.
So even the state government or the government is not there as of today. The central government, they can think of, you know, because you always say this is a threat. Why don't you induct people in the police who will do these sort of duties so that the temples are looked after, they have the security as well as they're maintained. That is what is my view.
Okay. Yes, Sumit Peer, why don't you come in there on what this means?
Gauriji, adding on to what commodores have said, you know, you have to look at it from a different perspective. Who are the people who vandalize temples? They were not possibly the common Kashmiri Muslims, but there is a Wahhabi faction there which did all this work, right? Maybe they are 1 to 2% of the population there, but they are still existent there. Look at the history of Kashmir. Kashmir, what he rightly said, it goes to the 1st century. There were only 2 Shakti Peeths in India. One was in Kashmir and one was in Tamil Nadu. Yes. We have this yearly calendar called Vijayeshwar Panchad. Now 5,000 plus addition is out as on date, what we are following now. So with that kind of history, that kind of, you know, the ethos which lives in Kashmir, Hinduism once or Shivism was established in Kashmir. If you look at the temples, if you go to the mountains, there are hundreds and thousands of small and big temples, which over the years, over the centuries got eroded, but still there will be around 50,000 plus temples which are there. Unfortunately, last 30 years they have been reduced to a rubble because first they were systematically shed, there was nobody going to pray for prayers, and then these Wahhabi elements had this agenda because they wanted the radicalization or Islamization of the valley, so they would do everything to come and do it. So maybe a common person on the ground, the common Kashmiri Muslim does not want it, but uske bhi haath band hai. There's nothing they can do because people with the guns will dictate everything. And, you know, taking out this Hindu ethos and Hindu identity which Kashmir was established with, because what Sir rightly said, the Islam came in 13th, 14th century, because before that were all Hindus there.
Exactly.
So they wanted to wipe up that. It was the kind of ethnic cleansing. Why was Kashmiri Pandits asked to leave? Because what would a one person minority do to you? They will not harm your interest in any way. They were forced to leave from the valley because they wanted to have that radicalization. They wanted to change the demographics of the valley.
Okay.
Now with the 370 gone, when anybody can go there, the first thing you have to restore is schools and the places of worship, what you rightly said, because now it is not only for Kashmiri Pandits. Today you can go, sir can go, and anybody watching this broadcast, anybody from India has the right to go and settle there.
Okay, Chetan Singh, when you talk about roadmap, when you talk about normalcy, when you talk about Kashmiri Pandits, well, places of worship and educational institutions are really where you begin. So to that extent, the roadmap has been charted out?
See, undoubtedly, it seems like, you know, it's a very welcoming statement made by him that 50,000 temples are going to be restored. It goes without saying. But is this the right time to make these kind of announcements? Is what something we have to be pondered about.
When is the right time?
I'm saying so? Why I'm saying so? Especially at this given point of time, we have seen that you know, people out there are still living in clampdown. Even 2 days back on Saturday, 500 scientists and 500 academicians have signed a letter and they have requested that this clampdown to be removed. So having said this, what government is claiming when it comes down to communication, they are saying all landlines have been restored. But how much percentage of landlines are there? Only 1% of landlines are there. First. Second most important point, किसी को अपना बनाने से पहले हमें उनका बनना पड़ता है. If you want to come up with this kind of statement, probably these statements are not going to work. Why? We know what Mufti's daughter has said.
चेतन सिंह जी, ये फिल्मी बातें बड़ी अच्छी लगती है जब अपनी कहानी नहीं होती. When it is not about us, तो ये फिल्मी कहानियां और ये फिल्मी डायलॉग बड़े अच्छे लगते हैं. But when it is about your own life, it stops being so filmy.
I respect her daughter, whatever she said, but I am also a Kashmiri. I also know what is happening in Kashmir. We all are, you know, concerned. We all are worried. Yes, I do agree that certain things, the clampdown which has been put, the restrictions which have been put, they need to be removed at the earliest. I agree. But when we talk about certain people, you know, we should not forget that a statement which was made saying that if you do abrogate Article 370, the Hindustan ka jhanda yahan pe nahi rahega, usko bhi
बारूद के ढेर पे बैठे हो.
So those sort of statements are
Okay.
the ones they are irresponsible
Okay.
statements made, and that is what the people of Kashmir are paying
Okay,
for.
so Chetan Singh will respond, then I'll get the BJP to also respond to what Chetan Singh is saying. Okay, Chetan Singh, quick answer.
See, my only response to this is that whatever Mufti has said, that was very irresponsible statement, goes without saying.
Thank you.
But when it comes down, especially, it's come down to bringing normalcy in that particular state. I believe what BJP is doing is fueling the fire, and they're just trying to leverage a certain vote bank. To leverage the vote bank because elections are already lined up into
RP Singh,
in
respond
two
to what
states.
Chetan Singh
So
is
why
saying.
To leverage a vote bank
10
is
seconds.
something-
I'll bring him in, then I'll come to you. Yes. RP Singh, respond to what Chetan Singh is saying.
The problem with congressmen and the supporters and the sympathizers of Congress is that they can't think beyond vote bank. For them, everything is vote bank. They have done this for the last 70 years in this country. They have unturned the Supreme Court decision. They have done many things just for vote bank politics. They have made Kashmiris suffer for all this period only for vote bank. They never stood by Kashmiri Pandits only because of vote bank. They gave the Kashmir in platter to Abdullahs only for vote bank. So I can understand Chetan Singh, who is a hardcore sympathizer of the Congress, will speak that. But let's understand, you're talking about clampdown. Commander Dalbir Singh is here. He'll tell you this is not the first time that this sort of thing has happened. Earlier, Hurriyat Conference used to do such clampdown for days together, for months together. I remember 2008. I remember 2010. I remember 2011. So there are periods when clampdown was there for months together. No one uttered a word.
Sir, when
That time
Ghulam
said,
Nabi
oh,
Azad was the chief
human right and
minister
all.
in
No,
that particular
because
state, the
the
terrorism has
sir,
reduced significantly.
Sir, मैं आपको नहीं
Everybody
टोका
knows
मैंने.
it. Sir, Ghulam Nabi Azad
Chetan
ji
Singh
जब
जी,
वहाँ
मैंने
पर
आपको
chief
नहीं टोका
minister थे,
ना.
we all know that terrorism has gone down significantly. The maximum development has taken place in Kashmir during his tenure. It
Oh,
goes without saying.
अरे क्या
And
बात
I am
कर रहे
sure
हो
Oh.
General Saab is here, he would also
वो
going to
गुलाम
agree with
नबी
that.
सुनिए सर सुनिए अरे
That goes
सुनिए
without
चेतन
saying.
सिंह आपने
And
बोल
this
दिया
kind of vote bank
आपने
politics
बोल दिया
has
अब
never
सुनिए
been done.
वो गुलाम नबी आजाद कौन है वो गुलाम नबी आजाद वो है जो एक टेररिस्ट के वोट से जीत कर आए थे राज्यसभा में वो गुलाम नबी आजाद है जो टेररिस्ट के वोट से राज्यसभा जीत कर आए थे और आज वो जेल के पीछे है वो आपको जानकारी नहीं है वो राशिद इंजीनियर जेल के पीछे है
Do not
आप किस गुलाम
deviate
नबी
the
आजाद की बात कर रहे
subject.
हैं आप लोगों ने 70 साल में कश्मीर को तबाह किया गुलाम नबी आजाद
You are giving a wrong information.
वो फारूक अब्दुल्ला हो वो शेख अब्दुल्ला हो वो
Sir,
अमर
we
अब्दुल्ला
are
हो
talking about
आपने
development. We
कश्मीर
are
को
talking
लूटा
about
है
50,000
आपने
temples.
कश्मीर को लूटा
What
अपने
is
बड़े
the
बड़े घर
objective
बनाए
behind it? We
और
all
इतना
want the
दमदार तो
temple to
इलेक्शन
get-
लड़ते ना वहां से
Sir, we all are
क्यों
with-
चले गए महाराष्ट्र से इलेक्शन लड़ने के
we all
लिए
are with this
वो
statement.
महाराष्ट्र से
But
कब चले गए
is
इलेक्शन
the
लड़ने के
timing
लिए
correct?
Okay.
वहां
Is
पे
this
जमीन
timing
है नहीं
correct
वहां
to
पर
All right,
this
all right,
kind of
all right.
यहाँ पर आकर
Okay,
आपने
Chetan
70
Singh,
साल
RP
में
Singh.
सिर्फ वोट बैंक की राजनीति की कश्मीर के साथ
Okay,
आपने
yes.
70 साल कश्मीर को बर्बाद किया आपने वहाँ पर
Sir, do
वहाँ
not
पर
say
जो
that.
पैसा
That's what I'm
सेंटर से
saying.
जाता था
That's
उसके
what
नाम
I'm
पर आप
saying.
पैसा
Look
लूटते
at
थे
and
उसमें गुलाम
thoroughly
नबी आजाद
review
उसमें
the
हिस्सेदार था
tenure
कांग्रेस
of
उसमें
Ghulam
हिस्सेदार थी
Nabi ji.
आपको
You
सिर्फ
will be
30
Okay, all right.
surprised.
Let's exercise some restraint.
अब
Let's
ये
exercise some
government
restraint. Let me bring in the other panelists. Sumit, you were wanting to come in. All right, both of you.
What he has done.
Gauri ji,
All
the
right,
point-
30 seconds, 30 seconds. RP Singh, Chetan Singh, let's listen into
The
these
limited
voices.
limited point I was trying to make
All right,
is-
both of you have made your point. Let's listen into some of the other
I think the
panelists. Yes.
limited point I was trying to make is that, if you decide to renovate temples today, it is not going to happen tomorrow morning. It's not the first
It's a
priority.
roadmap. It's a
roadmap.
roadmap.
So it will happen in 5 years, 10
So
years.
survey is
Look
going to
at
be done. Then
time lagega.
some temples would be identified.
Then the budget has to be
obviously,
passed.
yes.
Contracts have to be given. So it's not going to happen tomorrow. BJP is not saying you will stop everything and first
It's the
renovate
intent.
temples.
It's the intent.
And secondly, this decision, I want to say to what I replied to what Mr. Singh said. Ma'am, this decision had to be taken 30 years back. 30 साल का 3 decades का delay हो गया इसमें. We have a delay of 3 decades already. And when the Hinduism has roots in Kashmir from 1st century to this century, now India is a Hindu-dominated country with more than 100 billion Hindus. In across the world, the population spread around 150 countries. If they have sensitivity to something, don't you think it is the responsibility of the government to go and do something about it? When they do something about it, you say, why are they doing it? When they don't do it, they say कि कश्मीर में मंदिरों का हाल क्या, आप ये बात कर दो, वो बात करो. So what is wrong in that? It is not going to supersede every other priority, sir. It is going to take time. But let's have the intent. Let's respect the sentiment. What is wrong in that? I don't understand what has timing got to do with it. Sir, what has timing got to do with it?
Every time they are just trying to leverage a certain section of society.
It's not the society. There is no vote bank.
But objective is what to bring
it's not a question of vote bank.
नहीं, आप मुझे बताइए vote bank.
अरे sentiments है sir. There are 100 million people. There are sentiments. What are you talking about, sir?
वोट बैंक की बात कर रहे हैं. कश्मीरी हिंदू तो है ही नहीं वहाँ पे जो असेंबली में वोट कर लेंगे. जो है ही नहीं वहाँ पे तो वोट कैसे डाल देंगे?
वैसे भी 4 लाख लोगों का वोट क्या मैटर करता है आपको?
Gauri, I just want to comment. You see, I wanted to write a book
देखिए
titled Shrines of Jammu and Kashmir. Chetan ji, can you give me a minute?
As a single Kashmiri,
let him finish his point. I'll come to you, sir. Yes.
You are talking about temple. If the single Kashmiri has been sent back to Kashmir, first you talk about that data. It is only they are just playing with the sentiments. This is what that appears. Playing with sentiments are not going to bring any results.
Yes, it is. Yes, of course, it is sentiments, which is why, of course, tempers are rising. All right, both of you. Let's get in Commodore Sodhi. Commodore Sodhi. Then I have a question to the BJP. I have a question to the BJP, but first up, Commodore Sodhi. Yes.
Gauri, I wanted to write a book titled Shrines of Jammu and Kashmir, but the canvas was very huge, wherein I wanted to cover the Muslim shrines, the Hindu shrines, the Sikh shrines. So then I brought it down and I authored a book called Historical Sikh Shrines of Jammu and Kashmir. Now let us understand. You see, Kashmir's scenic beauty is known to all of us. It was the Hindus of Kashmir who transformed the scenic beauty of Kashmir into an intellectual center called Sharda Peeth.
Correct.
Yes.
That is now in POK.
Correct.
Right. Here I am not talking about a temple or a gurdwara or a mosque. All I am trying to say is all these holy places which Kashmir was called and still I will say is called the land of Sufi saints. Right. So if at all these historical shrines were there and somehow they have been destroyed or they are in a state which you all can see on the screen. So it is important that yes, we get them, we repair them or we rebuild them. And I am not only talking about the temples, I will say even if it is a gurdwara, even if it is a mosque, we also have a shrine called Rozabal in Kashmir, which is linked to Jesus. Well, I will not debate much on that. There are a lot of documentaries which have been made. There are books which have been written about that because in the shrine,
yes,
there is a grave. The orientation of the grave is something different than how the Muslims put it.
All right.
All I want to say is today, let us not make an issue about politics. Let us all say that all of us should work together and see to it all the temples, all the holy shrines which are in Jammu and Kashmir
about a bill that was passed in 2016? Commodore Sodhi, I am sure you would be aware about the bill which was passed in 2016.
Yes.
For both Kashmiri temples and shrine bill.
Yes.
The name of the bill is Kashmiri Temples and Shrine Bill. I'm sure you would be knowing about it.
Of course, I know that.
So having said this initiative which was taken in 2016 has given what? What I am trying to say, this is again a vote bank politics.
Chetan ji, please try to understand. We all know what is the state in Kashmir today. Chetan ji, when we talk of Jammu and Kashmir as a union territory now, Jammu is called the city of temples. You also know today in Kashmir you are talking about the bill has been passed. But the requirement is the things have to start coming on the ground.
Moving on the ground.
Moving on the ground. At the same time, I also appreciate and I will also urge the government to see to it that we should see to it that as soon as possible, what are the restrictions which have been put, they are removed. I am sure being in the defense, having served the defense, I also know other nuances which are there in the state. But I am also weakly affected, right?
Not at
So
all.
there is no, listen to me, there is no excuse, but there is more important to me is the national security. So let's
Correct.
keep that in
Absolutely
mind.
right.
Also the threat not only to anyone. Today the threat is to the common man in Kashmir.
Exactly. Yes.
Right? So we
Okay.
have to see to that.
Okay. Yes.
Is paramount. Why to bring these kind of a political sensitive issues?
What
But
is sensitive about
what is the
this?
politics in this?
What is
What
sensitive
is
about
politics
this?
in this? If somebody
For
has
you, it's a
said,
political
that
issue.
should
What is
be
politics in
said.
it?
What is the politics in this?
Sir, kal ho raha hai kya ye? Is it happening tomorrow?
No, even if it happens tomorrow, what is the politics in this?
Politics in it? There's a sensitivity of 100 million people. Sir,
These are places of worship.
1 billion sensitivity is
Will be
involved.
Not asking government people. They must
Renovated.
ask strongly. They must ask.
Sir,
But
it's a
please,
delayed
you must
thing.
ask.
Okay, let's ask.
Mr.
Okay,
Arpit
Chetan Singh, I want to ask you.
Chetan ji,
All right,
please
okay, now let me speak. Let me speak. Let me speak.
Read
All of you, let me
Purana.
speak. All of you, all of you. All right,
Kashmir
okay, all
has-
of you, sir.
it was here
Just a
that
second,
Lord
Commodore
Shiva,
Soni.
Vishnu and Brahma made
Absolutely,
their abode.
Commodore Soni,
Once.
just a second.
With
Chetan
Arpit
Singh,
Singh would not
Chetan
be
Singh,
having
listen
this
to the
any
question,
side
sir.
point that how
Chetan
Kashmiri
Singh,
Pandits
you
will
have
go
to
to
listen to
Kashmir.
the question. You have to listen to the question. The question is, what is your specific objection if displaced Kashmiri Hindus are given their place of worship after 3 long decades? What is your specific objection to that?
Gauri ji, no objection. And even in my dreams,
Their
nobody,
objection is
I
that
cannot come up with an
it's been
objection.
given to
First.
Hindus.
Second,
Had it been
even
given to Muslims, they would be very happy. They can't think beyond the Muslim politics. They can't think beyond the Muslim appeasement. They can't think beyond Muslim words. For them,
good
Muslim
number of
words is
Muslims in
paramount.
Kashmir would
For
be
them,
more than
everything
happy
is
to
Muslim.
come up.
For
with
them,
this
Indian
kind of
resources should be first given to
welcoming
Muslims.
response. They are
You
going to
can't think
welcome
beyond
that
Muslims. The
50,000
Congress party
temples
can't
who
think
were
beyond
destroyed
Muslims.
if they're going to come
For
up,
you,
come
everything
back
is
again.
Muslim.
But the
You
problem
will oppose
is,
Ram
you
Mandir.
do not
You will
have any
oppose Ram
roadmap for
Mandir. You will
Kashmiri
oppose Shiv
Pandits.
temples.
If you can show
Congress
some
will
kind of
oppose Ram
roadmap that
Mandir.
this is how the
Congress
Kashmiri
will oppose
Pandits are
Shiv
going to go
temples.
to.
That's the problem.
Sir, I am telling you, you are just creating a rhetoric.
Sir,
This
you
is also
tell us,
you're finding
argue
it
with
as a
us.
rhetoric.
No,
See,
specific
sir,
objection you have to tell us. Chetan
Can you
Singh,
let us know
you have to tell us
how
specific
you
objection
can
because there are people sitting here whose sensitivities have been hurt. Their sensibilities have been hurt by your specific
I'm
objection.
sure you know it. Hari Parbat in Kashmir. Please look at Hari Parbat and the 3 directions of Hari Parbat. You have Sharka temple there. You have Makhdoom Sahib's shrine. And down below you have the Gurdwara, which is in the name of Chhati Paatshai. Kashmir was known for brotherhood, peace, harmony. And today what all has happened there, please keep that in mind. And please look into the nefarious designs of our adversary, what they are doing.
We have to.
We all are worried. We all are concerned. Yes, the government has seen to it that all the restrictions which have been put, they are removed at the earliest. But also please look at the national security first.
We have to undo the Pakistan's agenda.
Commander
We can't
Sahab,
let
I have a question for
Pakistan's
Commander
agenda
Sahab.
go on. It has gone from 3 long decades already. It has to go.
To sneak in.
Kashmir was known for Sufi culture. That culture has to be brought back.
Is it happening for the first
It's a
time?
decision
Okay,
delayed
let's
for 3
listen to
decades.
what RP Singh is saying. RP Singh.
First time. No. Commander, no. Let's ask Commander Dalbir Singh. Has this secession happened the first time? What happened in 2010? For how many days Kashmir?
No, I agree with you. I am not saying it is happening the first
How many
time.
days? 2008?
RP Singh ji, I have not said it is happening for the first time. I have seen it happening since 80s. I know what happened in 90s. I know what happened in the late 80s. When, when the people were put to a lot of restrictions were put. Even much more than what has happened today. All I am trying to say is that today whatever the action has been taken by the government, it has been taken in the interest of the nation. Yes, but let us look into it and see to it that at the earliest, as and when it happens, and I know it is happening, we had so much of debate on the same channel and then the landlines were open.
Okay.
So things are happening.
All right.
But yes, concern is there. Today the common man also
I'll tell you what is my concern.
All I am saying is because the nefarious design of our adversary,
Right.
that is what is playing into Kashmir.
Commodore, sorry, I'll have to interrupt you there, sir, because my concern is that even on something which is so fundamental, when you talk about right to practice your freedom, it is one of the most fundamental rights in our constitution.
Correct.
When you talk about restoring your place of worship, I think it's an extension of that right itself. If that is being objected to, as Chetan is doing so on the show, I think that's a very big worry and a concern for a lot of people as to what really happens. As for BJP, I think they'll now have to be clearer about their intent as far as roadmap for the rehabilitation of Kashmiri Pandits. It's already been over 5.5 years. Let's see how soon that roadmap map comes out. Completely out of time, Sumit, but I have a feeling we're going to come back and chat more on that.
I think there's one thing I want to bring up, Gauriji, that Chetan ji has problems in Kashmir's being in temples in Kashmir being restored. Just a talk of it.
Yes.
When Mr. Rahul Gandhi becomes a Shiv Bhakt in Gujarat elections and goes 22 temples, then he becomes a Hindu and he has sensitivities. But whatever our sensitivities, whatever our sensitivity of a billion people, they have no sensitivities.
I just have one thing to add, Janay Udhari. Let's add that as well. All right, quick break. We come back on the other side and talk more about, well, our neighbors' nefarious designs, as one of the panelists pointed out. Stay with us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.